Hey there guys, here we're going through AQA's June 2018 Foundation GCSE Maths Paper 1, which is the non-calculated paper. I'll put useful links down below in the description, including formulas that you need, paper 2 and 3, and topic playlists to help with this paper. Okay, question 1 wants us to work out 1/2 times 5. So if we multiply a fraction by a whole number, we multiply the top of the fraction by that number. So this is 5 halves. That's not an option though, so let's turn it into a mixed number. So we can think of this as 4 halves and 1/2, which is 2 and 1/2. So 2.5 is our guide. Question 2 wants us to circle the number that is 5 less than -2. So imagine it was -2 degrees outside and it gets 5 degrees colder. It's going to go down to -7. Question 3 wants us to simplify 3 times a times 3 times a. So multiplication is magic. We can do it in whatever order we want to. So we could change this to 3 times 3 times a, which is equal to 9a squared. So that is our guide for question 3. Question 4, we're asked here which shape is similar to shape X. So here are the 4 contenders. So similar shapes are shapes that are linked by a scale factor. So here we're looking for a shape that is either an enlargement of shape X or a shape that has been made smaller from shape X, but the whole of the shape has to be affected in the same way. So we can see with A, we've got longer from left to right, but the arrow pointing up hasn't got longer, so it's not A. For B, we can see the shape has sort of got thicker, but it hasn't got longer, so it's not shape B. If we have a look at C, we can see that that has got thicker and longer, left, right, and upwards. C is our guy, and with D can't be our guy. All that's happened there is the arrows have got pointier, so it couldn't have been D. Good times. Question 5 wants us to work out 20% of 14,000. So 10% is 14,000 divided by 10, which gives us 1,400. 20% is 2 lots of 10%, so 20% is 2 times 1,400, which is 2,800. Cool. 6a wants us to write 0.85 as a fraction in its simplest form. So to do this, we need to remember our place value for decimals. So the 8 is in the tenths column, the 5 is in the hundredths column. Now you can read decimals in terms of their smallest place value. So 0.85 we could think of as 85 hundredths. So as a fraction, that is 85 over 100. Now this has a common factor of 5. So if we divide that out, we get 17 over 20. Now 85 divided by 5 might not have been the nicest thing there. So the bus stop can help us. So we can do 85 divided by 5 like this. So 5s into 8 go once. There's a remainder of 3. So then 5s into 35 go 7 times. So the bus stop is really important for non-calculated papers. I'll put links to my videos down below. 6b wants us to write 5/8 as a decimal. So again, the bus stop can help us here. 5/8 is saying 5 divided by 8. So in the bus stop, we're going to have 5 on the inside, 8 on the outside. So how many times does 8 go into 5? It doesn't. So what we do now, after the 5, we put a point 0, and we also put a point at the top. Now we carry the 5 onto the 0 and ask how many 8s are in 50, which is 6. 6 8s are 48. That gives us a remainder of 2, so we make ourselves another 0, carry the 2 onto it. 8s into 20 go twice, which is 16, so now there's a remainder of 4. So we make another 0, block 4 on it. 8 into 40 goes 5 times exactly, so our answer is 0.625. So I've got a video on that with far more examples. That will be down below as well. Question 7. A rectangular carpet measures 8 meters by 6 meters. Part of the carpet is covered by a square rug of length 2 meters. We want to show that 1/12 of the carpet is covered by the rug. So the area of the carpet is 6 meters times 8 meters, which gives us 48 meters squared. The area of the rug is, well, it's a square, remember, so it's going to be 2 meters times 2 meters. And that is 4 meters squared. So the area of the carpet covered by the rug, so let's call that carpet covered by a rug. As a fraction is 4 over the whole 48. That has a common factor of 4 and simplifies to 1/12, as we wanted to. Question 8. Sam, Carl and Eric share 40 sweets. Eric gets the largest quantity. We want to work out the smallest possible number of sweets Eric could get. So this is quite a tricky one, certainly to explain anyway. What we need to think of are 3 whole numbers that add up to 40, such that the biggest number couldn't be any smaller without one of the other 2 numbers being bigger. What do I mean by that? Well, for example, we could go 20 for Eric, and then the other 2 could have 10 each, for example. They might have 12 and 8. The important thing is, though, neither one of them can have more sweets than Eric. Let's try 18. So if Eric had 18 sweets, then there are 22 sweets to be shared between the other 2 guys. So they could do that. They could have 11 each, for example. So that's fine, that would work. Let's try 16 for Eric. So 40 minus 16 is 24. So the other 2 guys could have 12 each. No problem there. If Eric had 14 sweets, well, 40 minus 14 is 26. Half of 26 is 13. So that works. We can see now, though, that the numbers are sat right next to each other. 14, 13 and 13. Eric would not be able to have less than 14 sweets without one of the other 2 having to have more sweets than him. So, for example, 14 is our answer. Let's just see what would happen if Eric had 12 sweets. Well, then there are 28 sweets left for the other 2 to have. There is no way to split 28 between 2 people with both numbers being less than 12, so it wouldn't work. So 14 is our answer. Question 9. The time in Rio is 3 hours behind London. The time in New York is 5 hours behind London. We are asked, what is the time in New York when it is 1 AM in Rio? So, 1 AM in Rio, well, that is 3 hours behind the time in London, so that is equal to 4 AM in London. Now the time in New York is 5 hours behind London, so 4 AM in London is going to be 5 hours behind in New York, so that's going to give us 11 PM in New York. In 10, we got a list of numbers, and part A wants us to work out the median. So the median is the middle, but we need to put the numbers in order. So let's do that. So we got 1, we got 2 2s, we've got 1 3, we've got 1 4, we've got 1 2 3 5s, what's going on with that last 5? So that's that, and well, we've got 1 6 and 1 8. Okay, so now we can cross off 1 from the left, 1 from the right. Keep going till we get down to the middle. Okay, so at this point we're left with 4 and 5 in the middle. When you've got two numbers in the middle, you add them together and divide by 2. So 4 add 5 is 9. So then 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. So our median is 4.5. Part B wants us to work out the mean. So to work out the mean, we add them all together and divide by how many there are. So 5 add 6 is 11, add 1 is 12, add 3 is 15, add 5 is 20, add 5 is 25, add 8 is 33, add 4 is 37, add 2 is 39, add 2 is 41. So our sum is 41. There are 10 numbers, so 41 divided by 10 is 4.1. So our mean is 4.1. Question 11, we have a nice 6 marker. So 300 passengers go on a coach trip. Each coach carries 50 people. Each passenger pays £25. The table shows the costs to the coach company. So it's £90 per coach driver and 70p per mile for fuel. Each coach travels 200 miles. We want to work out the total profit to the coach company. So, profit is money earned minus money that you had to spend. So we need to work out how much they make on this coach trip, how much they spent, and then find the difference. So, let's do money earned first of all. There are 300 passengers, each of them pay £25. So, the money earned is 300 times £25. Okay, now that might seem quite scary. What we can do is, first of all, do 100 times £25, and that's going to give us 2,500, and then we can multiply that by 3. So 3 times 2,500 is 7,500. So that is the total amount of money that the coach company made from the trip. Now we need to work out how much the trip has cost them. So we need to work out how many coaches were used first of all. So there are 300 passengers. Each coach carries 50 passengers. So under money spent then, the number of coaches is 300 divided by 50, which is 6. So there are 6 coaches. So the pay for the drivers is £90. So the pay for drivers is 6 times 90, which is £540. So that's how much the drivers cost the company. Now we need to work out the fuel. So let's do fuel per coach. So the fuel costs 70p per mile. Each coach travels 200 miles. So I'm going to do this in terms of pounds. So it's 200 times 0.70 pounds. So just like we did up above, we can split this multiplication up. So for that, we're going to do 100 times 0.7, which is going to give us £70. And then 2 times £70 is £140. So that is the cost of fuel for each coach. If we now find the total fuel cost, well, that's going to be 6 times 140. So 6 times 100 is 600. 6 times 40 is 240. So that is going to give us 840 pounds. So that's the total fuel cost. We can now work out the total cost to the company. Running out of room. So the total cost was the cost of the drivers. So 540. Add the cost of the fuel. So that's add 840, which gives us 1380. So finally, we can work out the profit. So the profit is the total that they made, so 7,500 minus the total cost, so minus 1,380. Okay, so starting on the right, 0 take 0 is 0. We then can't do 0 take away 8. So we borrow 1 from the 5. So he becomes a 4. Put the 1 on the 0. So it's now a 10. 10 take 8 is 2. 4 take 3 is 1. 7 take 1 is 6. So their total profit is £6,120. Good times. Of A wants us to work out 16.4 minus 3.92 add 7.8. So as far as bit maths is concerned, addition and subtraction happen at the same time. So we can just do this working from left to right. So first thing we're going to do is 16.4 minus 3.92. So we're going to use the column method. So we're going to say 16.4, 16.40. So then we got the same number of decimal places as 3.92. Okay. So starting from the right, we can't do 0 minus 2. So we need to borrow 1 from the 4. So he goes down to a 3. So now we got 10 take 2, which is 8. Now we can't do 3 take 9, so now we need to borrow 1 from the 6. 13 take 9 is 4. And now we got 15 take 3, which is 12. So we've now got 12.48. So we now want to do 12.48 add 7.8. So 7.80. Okay, so 8 add 0 is 8. 4 add 8 is 12. So we put the 2 there. Go with the 1 to the next column. 2 add 7 add 1 is 10. So we put a 0, carry the 1, and then 1 add 1 is 2. So our answer is 20.28. Okay, part B wants us to work out 2,843.61 divided by 7. So it's bus stop time again. So put 2,843.61 under the bus stop. 7 on the outside. Work left to right. So does 7 go into 2? No. Carry the 2. 7's into 28 go 4 times with no remainder. 7 doesn't go into 4. Make sure you put the 0, it's important. Carry the 4 onto the 3. 7's into 43 go 6 times, which is 42. So we have a remainder of 1. Don't forget to put the decimal place there. 7's into 16 go twice, which is 14. So the remainder is 2. 7's into 21 go 3 times. So the answer is 406.23. Cool. Okay, question 13. So in a game, 2 spinners are spun. So spinner A has 1, 2, 4 and 6 as possible outcomes. Spinner B has 2, 3, 2, 5 as possible outcomes. If the arrows land on different numbers, then the score is the higher number. If the arrows land on the same numbers, the score is 0. Our first mission is to complete this table for the possible scores. So, going across the top then, if we score a 1 and a 2, the score is 2. If we score a 1 and a 3, the score is 3. If we get a 5 and a 1, the score is 5. Second row, if we get 2 2s, the score is 0. A 2 and a 3 would be 3. A 2 and a 5 would be 5. Third row, 4 and 2 would be 4. 4 and 2 would be 4. 4 and 3 would be 4. 4 and 5 would be 5. Fourth row, 6 and 2 would be 2. 6, sorry. 6 and 2 would be 6. 6 and 3 would be 6. 6 and 5 it would be 6. Cool. Then we want to write down the probability that the score is an odd number. So how many odd numbers do we have in here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 possible outcomes where we get an odd number, and there are 16 possible outcomes. So it's 5 16ths. Okay, then the same game is played with 2 different spinners. So we got the numbers on spinner C, 1, 4, 8 and 7, but we don't know the numbers on spinner D. We do have a table though, with some possible outcomes and we are told to fill in the missing numbers on spinner D. So, top left, we have a score of 4. So that means one of the numbers on the spinner then is going to have to be 4. With second score, we've got a 0. That's when spinner C lands on 4. We get a 0 if the arrows land on the same number. So we're going to have another 4. And then down the bottom, we got a 7 on spinner C with a score of 0. So we're going to have a 7. And then on spinner C as well, we've scored a 7. We've got a 7 on spinner C, and we've scored an 8. So that means we're going to have an 8 on spinner D. So our missing numbers are 4, 4, 7 and 8. Cool. Okay, question 14, we got some proportion. So, 2 people working at the same rate will take 6 hours to paint a room. Assuming that they all work at the same rate, how long will it take 3 people to paint the room? Okay, so if 2 people take 6 hours, we can work out how long it would take one person. So one person is going to take twice as long. So one person is going to take 12 hours. Now, 3 people are going to take a third of the time it's going to take one person. So, 3 people are going to take a third of 12, so they're going to take 4 hours. Cool. Okay, then part B says, in fact, the third person works at a faster rate. How does it affect the time to paint the room? Well, if the third person works faster, then it's going to take less time. So it will take less time. If the third person worked slower, it would take more time. Question 15. We're told 9a add b is equal to 7 and 6x add 8y is equal to 40. We want to show that 9a add 3b has a greater value than 3x add 4y. Okay, so we know that 3a add b is equal to 7. Can we spot anything about 9a add 3b, such as how we've got from 3a add b to 9a add 3b? We've multiplied 3a add b by 3. So 9a add 3b is equal to 3 lots of 3a add b. Now 3a add b is equal to 7. 3 times 7 is 21. And same sort of thing for 3x add 4y. How have we gotten from 6x add 8y to 3x add 4y? We have divided by 2. So 3x add 4y is equal to 20. 21 is greater than 20, so we've shown it. Question 16 wants us to circle the coordinates that lie on the line x minus 3 is equal to 0. So, if we solve this, we would add 3, so we get x is equal to 3. So what we're looking for here is a pair of coordinates where the x coordinate, so the first coordinate, is equal to 3. So that is this first chap here. Question 17. A is a negative odd number. We want to circle the words that describe a squared. So there are our possibilities. Remember, a squared means a times a. So a negative times a negative gives us a positive number. So it's going to be positive. And an odd number times an odd number gives us an odd number. So a squared is positive and odd. Number 18 wants us to circle the ratio, which is the same as the scale. 1 centimetre represents 1 kilometre. So we need to turn 1 kilometre into centimetres. So 1 kilometre is 1,000 metres. 1 metre is 100 centimetres. So 1 kilometre is the number of metres times 100. So it's 1,000 times 100 centimetres. So that is going to be 1 with 5 zeros after it. So 100,000. So the ratio is 1 to 100,000, which is this chap here at the end. Number 19 wants us to circle the percentage that is closest to 1/3. So let's turn a third into a decimal using Mr. Bus Stop again. So 3 doesn't go into 1, so we're going to put a 0 up there, and we're going to put a 0.0 on the bottom and a point on the top. Now we carry the 1 onto the 0, 3's into 10 go 3 times, remainder 1. So then we're 3 times again, remainder 1. 3 times again, remainder 1. So that keeps going forever and ever and ever. It's a recurring decimal. So if we do 0.3333, if we turn that into a percentage, we multiply by 100. So this is 33.33% if we go to 2 decimal places. So the closest one here is 33.3%. Question 20 wants us to work out the square root of 121 minus 13 minus 5 times 2 squared. So this is big maths. We should do the stuff inside of the brackets first. And in the side of the brackets, we need to do that multiplication first of all. So we can say this is root 121 minus 13 minus 10 squared. So we got root 121 minus 3 squared. Now we need to be really careful here. When we square root 121, technically we get two answers. We get positive 11 and minus 11. So the square root of 121 is plus or minus 11, and then we got minus 3 squared is 9. So we're going to get two answers here. If we do 11 minus 9, 11 minus 9 is 2, so that's one answer, or if the other one is minus 11 minus 9, which gives us minus 20. So we got two answers, 2 or minus 20. So that's one to look out for. When you square root a number, you do get two answers, positive and negative. 21a wants us to reflect this triangle in the line x equals 2. So the line x equals 2 is a vertical line through the x-axis where x is equal to 2. So this green line here. So to reflect this triangle, every point is going to be reflected to the right, and by the same distance that this triangle is on the left of the line. So for example, this top point is 1 square to the left of the line. It's going to reflect down to 1 square to the right. Same with this bottom point. And then the bottom left point of the triangle is 3 places to the left. So that will reflect to 3 places to the right. In the real thing, use a ruler. But there we go. B wants us to reflect a kite 90 degrees anti-clockwise about 0, 0. So here's our kite. 0, 0 is the origin, and anti-clockwise is that way around. So you can use tracing paper for this. Obviously, I can't really do that here. What we're going to start with are these 2 points that are on the y-axis. So we got this point here at -1. Now if that rotates by 90 degrees anti-clockwise, that is going to be at 1 on the x-axis. Same with the point down at -4, that's going to rotate to 4 on the x-axis. Okay, now then, this point out here is -3, 2. So it's 2 places to the right of the y-axis. When we rotate this point is now going to be above the x-axis by the same number of squares. So this point is going to be at 3, 2, and the other point is going to be at 3 minus 2. Again, use a ruler to join it up, but that is our rough shape. 22. Anna plays a computer game. Each game is a win or a loss. She wins the first 3 quarters of her first 24 games. She then wins the next 12 games. Our mission is, for all 36 games, write the ratio wins to losses in its simplest form. So we need to work out how many games she won in total. So, of her first 24, she won 3 quarters. So, 3 quarters of 24. Well, to do that, first of all we work out 1 quarter, which is 24 divided by 4, which is 6. So 3 quarters is equal to 3 times 6, which is equal to 18. So in her first 24 games, she won 18 games. Now we then know she won her next 12 games. So her total win is 18 add 12, which is 30. So we now know she won 30 games and lost 6 games. So, as a ratio, win to lose, we've got 30 to 6. Now this ratio has a common factor of 6. So we divide both sides by 6 and get 5 to 1. Cool. 23, a bit of a tricky one I think, especially to explain. So a solid shape is made from centimetre cubes. We've got the plan view, which means the view from above, side elevation, and front elevation. So, from the plan view, the view from above, we can see the width of our shape is 3, and the length of our shape is 4. From the side elevation and front elevation, we can see we have a height of 4. Now, centimetre cubes are added to the shape to make this cuboid. So the cuboid has a width of 3, a length of 4, and a height of 4. We are asked how many cubes are added. Okay, so the front elevation shows us that the front of this shape is completely filled in, so that's all cool. The side elevation shows us that, so this side elevation is the view from this side. So we can see here that this side would need to be built up a little bit. So we're going to need to put in those cubes to fill in the left hand side of the shape. So that is 5 cubes. Okay, now from the plan view we can see that there is this, from above we've got this rectangle that at the moment has nothing in it. So basically what we've got here, we've got a cuboid that we would need to fill in with a width of 2, height of 4, and a length of 3. So we can see each layer of that cuboid is going to need 6 cubes. It's 4 centimeters high, so that part is going to need 4 times 6 cubes, which is 24. So the total cubes that we're going to need is 24 add 5, which is 29. 24 wants us to divide 405 in the ratio 4 to 11. So a standard ratio question here. So 405 in the ratio 4 to 11. Okay, first step, add the parts of the ratio together. So 11 add 4 is 15. Now we need to know how many lots of 15 are in 405. So we can use the math stop here. So we want to do 405 divided by 15. So does 15 go into 4? Nope. So we put a 0 above, carry the 4 onto the 0. How many 15s are in 40? Well, we got 15, 30, 45, that's too big, so it's 2. With a remainder of 10. So now we need 15s in 105. So we got 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90, 105. So it's 7. So now we multiply each part of the ratio by 27. So we get 4 times 27 to 11 times 27. Okay, so maybe quite tricky multiplications here. So for 4 times 27, I would do 4 times 20 is 80. 4 times 7 is 28. 80 add 28 is 108. And then 11 times 27, well, 10 times 27 is 270. 1 times 27 is 27. 270 add 27 is 297. And that is our answer. Okay, question 25. So we've now reached the questions that are also on the higher paper. So, the height of Zach is 1.86 metres. The height of Fred is 1.6 metres. We want to write the height of Zach as a fraction of the height of Fred in its simplest form. So a little bit of a side note here, because I know this sort of language causes confusion. So 3 as a fraction of 4 would be 3 on top, 4 on the bottom. So So that is 3 as a fraction of 4. If we wanted 4 as a fraction of 3, then it's the other way around. So that would be 4 over 3. So here, if we want Zach's height as a fraction of Fred's height, we want Zach over Fred. So this is going to be 1.86 over 1.6. I'm going to call that 1.60. So that is the fraction, but we don't like decimals in fractions, and this isn't in its simplest form. So the first thing I'm going to do now is turn the top and bottom into whole numbers. Now, I can do that by multiplying top and bottom by 100. So the top, let's do it down here, would then become 186, and the bottom would become 160. So both numbers are now whole. We now want to simplify this as much as possible. So we might spot both numbers are even, so we can divide out a 2. So 186 divided by 2 is 93. 160 divided by 2 is 80. Now there are no common factors between 93 and 80, so that is our answer. 26 says A02 and B65 are points on the straight line ABCD. Now we are told that AB is equal to BC is equal to CD, and we're asked to work out the coordinates of point D. So when it says AB is equal to BC is equal to CD, it means this length is equal to this length is equal to this length. So we need to work out the coordinates of point D. So because these lengths of line are all the same length, it means the points are the same distance apart from each other. So how are we getting from A to B? Well, our x-coordinate is changing from 0 to 6, so we're going 6 to the right, and our y-coordinate is going from 2 to 5, so we're going up by 3. So, to get from B to C, we do exactly the same. So we go 6 along, so C is going to have an x-coordinate of 12, and we go 3 up. So we're going to have a y-coordinate of 8 at point C, and then to get from C to D, we do exactly the same again. So 12 add 6 is 18. 8 add 3 is 11. So our answer is 1811. 7. A coin is flipped 50 times. It lands on the heads 31 times. We want to write down the relative frequency of getting a heads. So a relative frequency is the number of times the thing we are interested in happened out of the total number of times we did the trial, if you like. So here, the total number of heads over the total number of coin flips. So 31 out of 50. Okay, then part B. Raj says the coin is biased towards heads. We want to write down a reason why he might be correct. So, with a coin, you would roughly expect heads and tails to be 50-50. So here, we could say, well, half of 50 is 25. So we could say that we got 6 more heads than expected. So anything along those lines and you would be golden. 28 wants us to solve 5 lots of x plus 3 is less than 60. So I'm going to do this 2 ways. So the first way is by expanding the brackets. So that's going to give us 5x plus 15 is less than 60. Minus the 15, we get 5x is less than 45. And then dividing by 5 gives us x is less than 9. So that's the answer. That's one way. We actually don't need to expand the brackets. That 5 is multiplying the brackets, so we could divide it away from the start. So that's going to give us, stop moving, that's going to give us x plus 3 is less than 12, and then take away the 3, we get x, again, is less than 9. Either one of those methods are absolutely fine. Question 29 is quite a tricky one, I think. So the range of a set of numbers is 15 and a quarter. The smallest number is -2 and 7/8. We want to work out the largest number. So the range, remember, of a set of numbers is the biggest minus smallest. Now here we know the range and we know the smallest number. So we can use this equation to follow that, to work out the biggest number. So if the range is biggest, take the smallest. If we add the smallest to both sides, then we get range, add the smallest number, is equal to the biggest number. So let's put our numbers in. So we know that 15 and a quarter plus our smallest number, so that's plus minus 2 and 7/8. So that's minus 2 and 7/8 is equal to our biggest number. Okay, so now we're dealing with mixed numbers. So to do this subtraction, we need to turn them both into improper fractions. So to do that, you multiply the bottom of the fraction times the whole number add the top of the fraction, and then that's all over the bottom of the fraction. So for the first one, we get 4 times 15 add 1 all over 4, and then we're going to get minus, well, 8 times 2 add 7 over 8. So we've got 4 times 15 is 60, add 1 is 61. So we got 61 quarters minus, well, 8 times 2 is 16, add 7 is 23. So we got minus 23 over 8. Okay, so now we need the bottoms of these fractions to be the same. Now we can turn 4 into 8 by multiplying by 2. So we only actually need to alter this first fraction. So we're going to multiply the top and bottom of this guy by 2. So we get 122 over 8 minus 23 over 8. And that is going to give us 99 over 8. Now I don't think they asked for it in any specific form, which they didn't. So 99 over 8 would be a fine answer. As a little bit of bonus info though, as it's good practice, let's turn that into a mixed number. So to do that, we think of the biggest number underneath 99 that 8 goes into, which would be 96. So we can say this is 96 over 8, add 3 eighths. 96 divided by 8 is 12. So this is 12 and 3 eighths. So we didn't need to do that last bit. 99 eighths is fine, but it's good to practice these things. Question 30. Y is inversely proportional to x. So we met this earlier with the painters. If things are inversely proportional, it means as one of them gets bigger, the other gets smaller. So for example, if y doubles, x would half. If x doubled, y would half. So we want to fill in this table. Now we know that when x is 6, y is 4. So on the left, we've got x equals 12. So to get from 6 to 12, we have multiplied x by 2. So to get the y value, we're going to divide by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then to get from a y value of 4 to a y value of 8, we've multiplied by 2. So to get the x value, we're going to do 6 divided by 2, which is 3. 31. So a large rectangle is made by joining 3 identical smaller rectangles. So this is our lovely rectangle here. The perimeter of one small rectangle is 15 centimeters. We want the perimeter of the big rectangle. Okay, let's start with a small rectangle, and we're going to say the width of this rectangle is x. The reason that we've done this is, if we look at the diagram, two lots of the width are equal to the length of one of the rectangles. So we can say then that the length of the rectangle is 2x. So we can actually work out an algebraic expression for the perimeter of one small rectangle. So the perimeter of this chap is x add 2x add x add 2x, which is 6x. Now the question told us that the perimeter of a small rectangle was equal to 15 centimetres. So this now tells us, well, so 6x, which is the perimeter, is equal to 15, because that is the perimeter. So 6x is 15 centimetres, so we can actually work out the value of x. So we are dividing by 6 here. Maybe that might be a little bit horrible. Maybe divide by 3 first. So we get 2x is equal to 5. And then divide that by 2. We get x is 2.5 centimetres. So we can start filling in then some lengths here. So we now know that x, the width of a small rectangle, is 2.5 centimetres. So that means the length of one of the rectangles is 5 centimetres. So this left hand length is 5 centimetres. Same on the right. Now the length of the rectangle, the big rectangle, is 1 length and 1 width. So that's 5 add 2.5. So we got 7.5 centimetres on top, and the same along the bottom. So we can now work out the perimeter. Well, the perimeter is 2 lots of 5 add 2 lots of 7.5, which is 10 add 15, which gives us 25 centimetres. Okay, 32, final question, longest paper in the world. We want to put these 4 numbers in order of size from smallest to biggest. So 3 of them are written in standard form, so we're going to write them all as normal numbers. So looking at this first one, 8 times 10 to the minus 4. So the power of 10 tells us what's going to happen with the decimal place. So imagine 8 has a decimal just after it. And then this decimal is going to go left by 4 places. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So 8 times 10 to the minus 4 is 0.000000 8. 4 times 10 to the minus 2, well, that means the decimal goes back by 2 places. So this is 0.04. 6 times 10 to the minus 4. Again, the decimal's going 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 0.0006. And then we've already got the last number as a decimal, 0.07. So the smallest number here is 0.0006. So our smallest number is 6 times 10 to the minus 4. And then it's going to be 0.0008. So that's 8 times 10 to the minus 4. And then it's between 0.04 and 0.07. So 0.04 is smaller. So that is 4 times 10 to the minus 2. And then we've got 0.07. Good times. Job done. Okay guys, hope you found this useful. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, get subscribed, share with your friends. I'll put links to paper 2 and 3 down below. Hope to see you there. It's going to be fun. Take it easy guys, take care. Good luck with your exams.